liquidating all other investments to try and get a family home. Madness? So I was lucky enough to buy a flat in Sydney in 2018. Now selling it for $1.4 million. With $700K mortgage. In order to get a family home in the area we need to spend $2 million. To make the mortgage manageable, the only thing I can think of is to liquidate the $200,000 we have built up in shares and ETF, so every cent going into the house apart from a $40K safety net. My rationale is that I can at least enjoy this investment with my family. Is this complete madness? Should I just rent and invest elsewhere? I'm 35, household income of $330,000, one kid, and hoping to have another. It's not just for you though, it's for your children to grow up and make family memories. It depends somewhat on whether you want a house or a home. If you borrow another $700K up to $1.4 million borrowings, at 6 interest your principal and interest repayment is just over $8,000 per month, around 30-40 of your take-home pay. You can give that a go and then sell your investments and park it in the offset if it's too much. So you will have a loan of 1.1 M. I don't think this is unreasonable for your income. I would do it if it means a bigger and better house. A home is important. Best of luck. Exhibit A in why our economy completely lacks any innovation right here. Remove money out of productive investments and plow it all into a house, such a great system we've built. Not saying you're wrong for wanting to do so, just sums up why our economy will never be anything more than houses and holes. Is it possible to take the equity out and retain the flat? Looks like its location is right. And it is worth retaining. I also liquidated all the shares I had to buy the place I am at now. Looking back 6 years, it was worth it. I'll just say it, since someone inevitably will, we need more information. $2 million house on $330,000 is 6x household income. Pretty frugal by Sydney standards. I echo Brutoric's comment. Your family home is not an asset in the sense that it does not generate an income for you and your family. I agree that the extra debt you are taking on will be limiting opportunities for other investments that will net you more in the long term. Your PPOR is not an investment. It's a money sink. Don't imagine that buying a $2 million home rather than a $1.4 million home is making you richer. It's making you poorer. It increases your expenses to buy more house. There's an opportunity cost in the money that could be used elsewhere. Do you want that home? Maybe it's worth it. Not madness. Your money, your call. So you'll be house poor. Surely you don't need a 2M house. Doesn't seem like you can afford it. People I know living in 2M homes have plentiful other assets. This is like going to a party wearing a 1K suit with $500 in your account. What I don't understand is how you can have $330,000 household income, and yet still owe $700K on your mortgage. What have you been doing with your money? Especially as I assume you purchased the unit for far less than $1.4 million. Am I the only one here at $100,000? Ha ha ha. IMO, you can't afford the area you want. Are Sydney prices that insane? Can you WFH, move to the Gold Coast, Queensland, and get a beast house for the same price, like the rest of Sydney has? $2 million is a lot, but putting the ETF funds into the mortgage offset is a guaranteed saving equivalent to the interest rate, and is a tax-free saving. Who wants to be holding the bag after the real estate bubble of 2025 occurs? Not me, but at least you got a roof over your head. I'll happily sleep in the car. $330K before tax is around $200K after tax. So with the loan of 1.1 stamp duty $80K. Looks more like 6x income. Also leaves little space for a job loss or unforeseen circumstances. Yeah, too risky for me. Move to Melbourne. You'll thank me at some point. You can even thank me in Melbourne. A PPOR isn't an investment, it's an expense. How do you have a combined income of $330,000 and only $200,000 saved? How are you going to cover your new mortgage when your wife takes time off to have the next child? How about the mortgage, reduced income and additional cost of childcare? You should rent, learn to save and learn what an investment is before you make your family homeless. I did the same. It's a guaranteed return of 5.5 or whatever your interest rate is. Don't forget any ETFs you have. If you get 4 growth for returns, you will be taxed on the returns. So may only be 6.5 equivalent returns. Once POR is paid off, I'll look into it again or buy another investment. How is your household income $350,000? And you're 35. That's incredible, you are so very wealthy. You'll be fine, just pick a nice house and enjoy it. 1.1M mortgage is totally manageable, you'll be living the dream. Do it. Owning your PPOR is step 1. I think this is doable and reasonable with your income and assets. The only thing extra I would do if I were in your shoes is to park a certain amount in offset, let's say $100K, or so, to leave some buffer in for emergencies. I wouldn't hesitate, yes. It's still assets expected to appreciate. This has been normal thing for people to do all my life. Getting into a house and land for most people takes everything they have at that time. Sounds like you're doing good to well and the mortgage is manageable. No, not madness by any means. Buy carefully and enjoy. Government loves this stuff. You will be completely trapped with a mortgage like that and you won't be able to leave your job. Stay in the unit as long as possible and do everything you can to not have an emergency. Yes, probably best to sell out, get the place you want and reset the investing again. This is often the curse of shares ETFs, where one doesn't have their PPOR first. Eventually, everybody wants to get their own home and often all their wealth is stacked up in shares ETFs, so need to sell up, get the money to contribute to the deposit, and reset the investment strategy. It is noted that even the most ardent commentators on the FIRE movement in Australia had to do similar to get their home. So assuming you owe nothing on the flat, you'll have 1.6 million cash. House costs $2 million. You will take on a loan of 500-ish considering other costs. If you're under 40, and household income is 200-ish. I personally don't see why you couldn't service it. But I'm just me lol, not a broker or anything. Edit stop downvoting me lol. I've refreshed the post 5x, I can't see anything about owing $700K or what his income is. I don't know why it's not showing the update, and I'm certain he updated the original post. If anyone doesn't believe me, I can send a screenshot of what I'm seeing lol. So if you're on a household income of $500,000, the answer is different than if you're on $200,000. You'll be thankful in the long run. That sounds very reasonable, honestly. It's a big mortgage for your average Joe. But if you are on $330K, then I honestly wouldn't sweat it. It's all relative TBH. I'd go for it on that salary. I'd love a family home in Sydney if it wasn't crazy money compared to my take-home pay. Liquidate it all if you want the house. Downsize the cars, even get a bike if it works, saves on gym fees. Buffer is always good. We'll help you install a PV battery system when you get your new place. Odds are in 2 years you will be back up and cruising. I'm in a similar situation right now. I've done as others suggested, maximized the mortgage, kept the investments for now, rather than sell straight up. But with interest rates so high right now, it's hard to beat dumping everything in the offset account. Just remember, you are in a significantly better financial position than many families in Australia. Even if you were forced to sell, you'd have plenty left over, likely $500K. Improve your everyday life now, and enjoy it while you can. I did similar not long ago. I sold my entire portfolio of $400,000 worth of shares for a house deposit, and we had another $200,000 in cash we out towards it. Household income is $370,000, we now have a loan of $1.3 million of our OO. We also have a $900,000 IP which brings in roughly $30,000 a year also. but between them it's $1.7 million in debt, so despite our income, we're extended as far as we can go.